Hello, welcome to Tier Nerd. This time I will be tiering anime that start with the letter S. This is actually just part one. I'm going to have two videos just on the letter S because S is a really popular letter for anime, apparently. So is T. T is also going to be split up into two videos just because there's also a lot. So first, got an interesting assortment of anime here. Let's look at Saiki no Kusuo. Saiki Kusuo. So this is like a comedy. He's like a psychic. I think low A tier. Like it gets boring after a while, but it really is funny comedy. Like it's kind of unique. Basically, the main character is like overpowered. He's a psychic. He can basically do anything he wants. And yeah. Anyway, it's just a funny comedy. Like it's better than most. I mean, it's cool. It gets kind of boring sometimes, like a lot of comedies do, but it's a solid one. It's better than most. I kind of want to give it maybe like lower end of A tier. I think it deserves that. Next, we have Samurai Champloo. Samurai Champloo is more of a B tier, maybe even lower B tier. I don't know, like maybe mid B tier. It's a bit overrated. I think like see a lot of older anime that were on Toonami that people watched as kids. I think people tend to overrate them because they tend to look at them through some kind of nostalgia goggles or something. That's probably got to be it because it's like and this happens with a lot of older anime, but like especially Cowboy Bebop and Evangelion. I think those two are the biggest culprits of that. Um, let's see, Samurai Champloo. I think is still solid. It's an interesting action anime, set in Edo Japan times, and it's interesting and it's got a cool concept. Interesting anime opening. Like it's a very unique anime opening. The whole hip hop concept with all of that. Like it's cool. It's an interesting concept, but it's not like that doesn't rate it like raise it to super high levels. Like it's still just a decent anime, decent action anime. So let's put it around the mid B range. See, then we got Shakugan no Shana. So I don't. Is it better? I don't know. I don't remember this anime too well, to be honest, because it's been many years. I do remember enjoying it. So Shakugan no Shana. I think they had three seasons, and I remember it was good. Like it was good, not super good, but I think solid B tier from what I remember about Shakugan no Shana. Um, so yeah, I think it was pretty cool. I think especially how it ends. Like the ending was kind of unique. Like the you know it. Like I mean, I always respect it when the plot isn't generic, and I think near the end, if I remember the plot, I won't spoil it, but the plot wasn't it didn't end quite the way things normally end. Like bad guy, good guys defeating bad guys or stuff like that. Like it wasn't quite like that. It took a little different spin on it. So it was a good show overall. So Shotgun Ocean, I think I'll give it high rank. Next we have now I don't even know why I put this in this list. It showed up on my anime list as something I watched, so I decided to put it in here. But this is Shelter. This isn't even an anime. This is like a 5 minute music video. So I don't even know why I have it in here. And I thought it was overrated. I remember when it came out, everybody's like, "Oh, this is so amazing!" And I'm like, "Okay, let's check it out. What is it?" And it was just a 5 minute music video. Like that's it. Like seriously. And it wasn't even that good. Like yeah, good art style, interesting concept, but still, I just thought it was a title rated. Like, okay, maybe C tier is too mean. Okay, I'll give it B tier, like low B tier. But yeah, I just didn't see what was amazing about it. It's just a 5 minute music video, Shelter, like a 5 minute anime music video. Let's see, and so many people have watched it, and that's all it is. It somehow ends up on my anime list. Let's see. Oh no. So you see, I have a lot of unpopular opinions. So here's another one. Here's another one. Yeah, this is super low B tier. Yeah, this is low B tier. This is not C tier. This is not S tier material. Some people put this in A or S. No, this is B tier. So Shigatsu no. Well, let me give you the Japanese title. Okay. Shigatsu Akimi no So. Basically, Your Lie in April. So when this came out, everyone's like, "Oh, it's so emotional. The feels like everybody's like crying about this anime and how emotional it is." And I think because everybody was crying and being emotional about it, when I started watching it, I already knew what was going to happen, and because I already knew what was going to happen, it kind of defeated the whole. Like it made it very unemotional. Like I got like no emotional feels watching this at all. Like I got like One Piece. I had more emotional feels watching One Piece a few times than I did watching this. Like there's several anime that aren't even supposed to be emotional that were more emotional than this because it was just over dramatized. And I think people online kind of ruined it because they kind of spoiled what's going to happen. It's actually kind of obvious what's going to happen, so you just kind of already know what's going to happen, and it just kind of destroys any kind of suspense or drama. And that, I mean, I like the music concept that he plays piano, she plays violin, and the classical music. That's great. Like I love classical music. That the anime has that going for it, but as a story, it just wasn't that great. Like just kind of mid beat here. So um, let's see. Then we have this one. Let me give you the title for that. That is Shinsho Yusha. So, oh yeah, this is overly cautious hero. So yeah, I mean, it's got some dumb etchy stuff in it, like a lot of isekai anime. But I don't know if this. Yeah, this is technically an isekai anime. It's another one of those with a super long title. So this is just the overly cautious hero, and it's a funny concept. Like, um, I don't know, is it fair to? You know what? I think it's fair to put it higher than Kimi. Yeah, maybe lower than Samurai Champloo, but I think it's fair to put it mid B tier here. Um, yeah, I kind of enjoyed it. It's cliche in some ways, but it's unique. Like the main character is like really cautious, like he's super powerful and he over levels, and he just wants to make absolutely sure that he can defeat, all the enemies. So he's super careful and everything. So it's just funny and it's a comedy and all of that. So yeah, so I think it's pretty funny, but it gets good. But I think what annoyed me was that he gets powerful too quickly, like way too quickly. Like he just becomes overleveled way too quickly. And the episode, like the anime is only like 12 episodes, so he just powers up super fast. Like it just seems like it's something that could have been like stretched out over multiple seasons, and But anyway, I think it's because it's a comedy. Because it's a comedy, they're not being too serious about with that kind of stuff. So yep, it's solid. Just another isekai anime. Yeah. By the way, yeah, maybe I should do this one next then, since this is pretty much the same genre. Um, yeah. So we got another one, pretty much the same genre of isekai anime. Um, yeah, this one's called Slime Taushite. 300 nen. So Sambyaku nen, right? So basically, she gets isekai'd. So many isekais, seriously. Um, I kind of like this one. So, well, okay, I kind of did like it. Then it got cliche. So yeah, um, I think I'll put this one a little higher. So this one, it just got cliche. Basically, she gets isekai'd, and then for the next 300, she becomes a witch. She classes into like a witch, so she's a magic user, and she kills slimes for 300 years and just becomes really overpowered. So you see, I mean, I don't know where they keep coming up with these weird concepts for isekai, but anyway, she levels up for 300 years fighting slimes, basically like level 1 enemies, and she becomes super powerful. And basically, then she meets a whole bunch of girls, and basically, it's like girls' night out. That's basically the whole anime. Like all the main characters are girls. So it's still, I don't know if it qualifies as a shonen. I don't know. It might be a shoujo at that point, but it's weird anyway. They're all girls, but anyway, it's an interesting anime. It's not the usual kind of thing. Normally, main character is a guy and a whole bunch of guys, but nope, this is one of those where they're pretty much all girls. And yeah, still decent anime. I enjoyed it. It gets kind of cliche, and all that. But then again, all the isekai do that. Like pretty much all the isekai just become cliched after a while and very repetitive. So it's another one of those, 12 episode light novel isekai anime. There's so many of them. So that's it. So I just thought I'd get them out of the way because they're very similar. Let's see now. This now based on my anime list, I have this. I think this would deserve an S tier. To be honest, this is a. I gave it a 9 out of 10 on my anime list, but it's like a solid 9. It's not perfect. It does have. There are aspects of the anime that I don't like that I think are a little weird, but in general, this is a really good deep anime. To be honest, so this is a Shinsekai no Yori. Um, Let me give you the correct title. Make sure I'm saying it right. Um, Wait, where is it? Yeah, Shinsekai Yori. Yeah, so this is like from the New World. So it's very interesting. And this is one of those anime where, man, like, I wish there was more. Like, they could have had like a prequel. Like, there could have been so much extra world building with prequels here that I would have watched. Like, that would have been amazing. Basically, what happens is, at some point in time, someone gets like psychic powers, and then a bunch of people start getting psychic powers, and then it basically goes crazy. A whole bunch of people die, and um, basically the world goes like post-apocalyptic, and it's like the feudal era, and people split up into different tribes and all of this stuff. And then there's like all this other stuff that happens, and then that society gets destroyed, and then basically the story takes place after all of that. So this is like post apocalyptic, basically. This is interesting. So there was a lot of stuff that happened prior to the start of the show in the story, which is, I really wish they would have covered that. That would have been really cool. And you kind of get glimpses of it through flashbacks, but man, I just wish there was so much more. There just wasn't enough. Like, they could have had a whole show just on the prequel. And basically, so it's like the future. It's like a basically it's like a post-apocalyptic future that goes back in time. Kind of like with Dr. Stone, where their technology is like very primitive. So their technology is very primitive, and they have like psychic powers. The tribe has like psychic powers, but they're monitored very carefully, and um, it's just a very interesting anime. Like, seriously, like The Giver and Earth Abides. Like, Earth Abides is a book, and then there's The Giver. Like, I didn't read Earth Abides, but I did read The Giver, and it's kind of like that. Like, it's like there's this society, and they're very secretive, and there's some secrets that they're not telling the kids, and all of this stuff goes on. And then there's like these rat people, which is like a huge spoiler. I'm not going to tell you what they are, because that's like, you know, that that would spoil the whole story. And it basically, you kind of see, the main character is a girl, and then she has a few friends, and you kind of see their life. And the book, yeah, the anime goes through like at her as she grows up. Like, you see her as a kid, and then I think at the end she's like an adult. And yeah, just a very interesting story, kind of sad and dark at times. So it started off good. I think it slowed down a little bit, maybe like in the middle, where it was just not as good. But overall, it's solid anime. Like, one season, I forget, like 24 to 26 episodes, something like that, and solid S tier anime. Like, I consider giving it like high A tier because that's what I ranked it as. But like, honestly, out of my A tiers, I deserve S tier. I think Shinsekai Yori is just so profound that I think it deserves S tier. Um, Very deep anime. There's a lot to think about with this one. I mean, yeah, there's some weird stuff in it that I don't get. I think that there's some fan service stuff thrown in here early on in the show, but other than that, like, this is a serious mature anime. Um, yeah, Sokyo no. Okay, so this one's S tier. So I haven't put an S tier for a while, but this one deserves it. Then we have Sokyo no Fafner, which I watched a long time ago. I think this one. Uh, Does it deserve this here? I don't know. I don't remember enjoying it quite that much. It's kind of dark. It has the same idea as Evangelion. You know, you have these like this alien parasite thing that wants to kill everybody. You know, it's one of those animes, and they have these mecha, and the kids have to pilot them. So a lot of similarities to Evangelion. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, I guess it's decent, but you know, a little dark at times, and sometimes you know, sometimes things are just a little too dark for my taste. So I think sometimes Tokyo the Fafner, I was like, yeah. So it's decent. It's kind of like Evangelion. If you like, if you know, if you like the alien parasite robot thing with mecha, then this might be up your alley. Then we got Soul Eater. I actually really enjoyed Soul Eater. Is it A tier? I mean, okay, the first half of the show was A tier, but it got kind of weak near the end. Yeah, I don't know. Does it deserve A tier? I don't know if I deserve it. I really did enjoy Soul Eater. I enjoyed the openings. I enjoyed the anime. Um, Solid show. Very interesting. Kind of out there. Like it's got this emo dark vibe to it. You know, kind of weird. Kind of this goth emo vibe to the show and everything, and the sun and just everything and it's I guess it's so unique that you know maybe it does deserve an A tier. This is a really unique show, like an action anime, and near the end it gets kind of weak, kind of cliche and weak near the end. But it's got its good moments. It's got its usual, you know, cliche creepiness found in Japanese anime. If you watch anime, you're probably used to it. But yeah, overall, Soul Eater's solid. It's a solid A, I think. Okay, then we got two anime. Yeah, let's do this one first. I'm gonna save this one last. So this is Star Ocean EX. Um, I don't know. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair having a music video be ranked higher than this anime here. Star Ocean EX. So this is based off Star Ocean 2. It's basically an anime based off Star Ocean 2. And yeah, I don't like it as much. It's like super low B tier because it changes the story. So I don't really like that when anime do that. Like when they change the story. So they changed the story around. They weren't very faithful to the actual game. If they were faithful to the game, it'd be a better anime. It always is. When an anime is faithful to the original source material, or a movie is faithful to the original source material, it generally comes out good because if the book is popular or the game is popular, then it's popular because of the way it is. When you change the story, you're gambling, you're experimenting, and quite often the result is not better. When a movie and anime remake and adaptation is not faithful to the original source material 100% or at least close to it, like 90-95%, anything below that you're gambling, and it's always a bad gamble. They never win. It's always worse. So I don't really know why it's so hard to just copy the story, why people feel like they have to change it. So the only time I've seen a successful change is Full Metal Alchemist. You have Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and they're both amazing. And that's probably the one time where that actually worked. But Star Ocean EX is just like every other remake that's not faithful to the source material. It's not as good. So Star Ocean 2, Star Ocean EX is just an anime based off Star Ocean 2. So I enjoyed it, but it ends on a cliffhanger. It actually ends at the end of the first disc. So the story ends where the Star Ocean 2 game would have ended at the end of the first disc. So, and that's it. It just ends there. And it's a very obscure anime. Very few people on my anime list have watched it. So I figured not a lot of people are aware of it. But anyway, it's kind of a low B tier. I would put it in C, possibly, but I kind of did enjoy it. So I think it still deserves higher than, you know, a music video. Finally, we have this. So so I'm not gonna have any suspense. I'm just gonna put it where it belongs. Yeah. So this is Spirited Away. Um, yeah. So Spirited Away is probably the most famous Ghibli movie. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's S tier," but no, it's not. It's not S tier. This is Spirited Away is the Undertale of anime. So Undertale. So if you watch my game review, my gaming tier list, Undertale is like the most overrated game of all time. Probably, well, at least RPGs, the most overrated RPG of all time. Spirited Away is probably the most overrated anime of all time. Anime movie, to be exact. I have never seen an anime movie where where everybody's saying it's so amazing. This is such an amazing movie, and I watch it and I'm like, where is it amazing? Like, what is so special about this movie? They're like, well, it's the animation style. Like, no, the animation style is just like all the other movies. It's not that much better. Like, and if even if it was a little better than the other movies, like, why is that enough to bump it up to S tier or A tier? Even the story is just boring. Like, in fact, it seems like it's just random. Like, it's like honestly, this movie feels like they just put in like a random event generator. Like they just randomly threw together some events and they're like, this is what's going to happen to the girl, and this is what's going to happen at the end. I think they probably decided on an opening and an ending, and then in between they just threw in a whole bunch of random events, and whatever happens happens, and that's why, because there seems to be no link in the chain of events in this show, in this anime. So I don't know what they were trying to say. I don't know if there's some deep hidden meaning within the movie that I'm failing to grasp. But so far, nobody has been able to explain why this is a good movie. I feel like people are brainwashed into thinking this is a good movie. I actually read a review on my anime list where somebody gave this movie a 10 out of 10, and they criticized it. They criticized the movie the whole time. They were finding criticisms in the movie that I wasn't even aware of. Like, they were even more critical than I was, and then they gave it a 10 out of 10. Like, that made no sense. Like, how do you criticize a movie so much and then just give it a 10 out of 10? So I feel like people are brainwashed into thinking that this is a good movie just because everybody else is saying it's a good movie. So I think people just jump on the bandwagon when in reality, this is not a good movie at all. This is the most overrated movie of all time, most overrated anime movie. And just like most Ghibli movies, it's overrated. And this is probably the most overrated Ghibli movie for sure. So yeah, this is probably one of my most unpopular opinions. How I view Spirit Away. It's maybe B tier, but like I want to give it in C tier just because it really does deserve C tier. I'm still putting it above Shelter though, because this is a music video. I have a little more respect for the anime movie than for the music video. So yeah, this is my ranking of anime that start the letter S, part 1. Stay tuned for part 2.